Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer and explore a really unusual approach to beating algorithmic fatigue. Look, if you've spent literally any time online lately, you know the exact feeling we're talking about. You're endlessly scrolling, trying to figure out what's a genuine recommendation, what's just a sponsored ad wearing a trench coat, and what's total low-quality filler from a content farm. It's completely exhausting. So today we're unpacking a fascinating ecosystem called the Daily Picks Network, and they take a completely different path to surfacing actually good information.
And it really boils down to this: picked by people who actually look. That's it. That one single sentence is the absolute core promise of everything we're looking at today. It sounds almost too simple, right? But in a digital landscape that is just drowning in machine-generated volume, it's incredibly refreshing. There is zero engagement bait here, no SEO stuff listicles. Every single pick across their 7 different sites is curated by a real, actual human being who evaluated the options. We're looking at a direct, labor-intensive battle between machine-generated noise and human-curated signal.
So here is our roadmap for the breakdown. We're going to cover escaping the algorithmic sludge, finding events worth going to, optimizing leisure, gifts and food, navigating homes and services, and finally, decoding data and AI. Let's get to it.
Starting off with part 1, escaping the algorithmic sludge and the whole problem with the modern internet.
You know, the traditional internet basically runs on paywalls and pay-to-play rankings. You search for something, and the top 5 results, they're usually just the businesses that paid the highest premium to be there. But the Daily Picks Network completely flips that script. The site itself is the completely free product. They stick to a few totally unbreakable rules. Fresh content every single day, absolutely no paywalls, no annoying email walls, and 0 pay-to-play rankings. If a business is sponsored, it's pushed outside the rankings entirely and labeled right up front. Everything else, pure merit. And that matters so much because it literally rips the financial bias right out of the equation. You can actually trust the results again. Moving on to Section 2, Events Worth Going To. Let's talk about finding the perfect night out. This brings us to PicksByEvent, which is this fantastic editorial guide that completely ditches algorithmic feeds. Instead of just blasting you with generic megatours, an editor specifically hunts down what's actually worth going to. Take today's daily pick, for example. A real human skipped right past the mass-promoted stuff to find this killer industrial and electro lineup featuring Lords of Acid at the Bottom Lounge in Chicago for May 6th. And it's under $40. It feels like an insider find. It's not just a giant, overwhelming list of everything happening. It's a carefully filtered selection of the good stuff. And the crazy part is, they do this level of deep dive curation across 20 different US cities. We're talking music, sports, arts and theater, comedy, family events, film. Think about the sheer amount of time that saves you. Whether you're in New York, Phoenix, or Seattle, an editor has already spent the hours combing through the noise, cross-referencing Ticketmaster, local blogs, tiny underground venue sites, just to surface the absolute best signal. You don't have to do the heavy lifting at all. The human touch has already taken care of it.
All right, Section 3, Leisure, Gifts, and Food. How they curate your downtime contextually.
I absolutely love this approach. Over on Picks by Game, rather than starting some endless internet flame war over a generic top 50 of all time list, they just ask, what kind of evening is it? Because honestly, how often have you bought a highly rated board game and realized it's totally wrong for the people you invited over? So if you've got maybe 30 minutes, 2 to 4 players, and want a laid-back family vibe, they'll point you to Azul. They match the recommendation to your actual table size and audience, not just some arbitrary star rating. And they apply that exact same contextual filter to gifting. Picks by Gift organizes everything by recipient and occasion, and they specifically highlight things that solve actual problems. Like under the top splurge category, you've got the Ember Smart Mug 2 at $150. Sure, it's a splurge, but the editor breaks down exactly why. It keeps coffee at the perfect temperature for an hour and a half. So it's a gift that genuinely solves an annoyance for a busy professional instead of just being another random gadget that's going to sit in the back of a cabinet forever.
Now, if you're staying in for dinner, Picks by Recipe is this beautifully clean library of over 600 recipes. And get this, 0 pop-ups, 0 2,000-word prologues before you even see the ingredients. We've all been there, right? Frantically scrolling past someone's entire life story about a summer in Tuscany while dodging 5 ads just to see how much salt to use. Here, you just find a great smoky lentil chili or a ricotta masala fish, and you cook. It's just the food, perfectly curated from open sources. It actually respects your time.
Section 4, Navigating Homes and Services. This is about practical living picked by data. So, 8,479, that massive number is every single local business ranked continuously by PicksByTown across 59 cities in 18 really crucial service categories. Look, when your furnace dies in the middle of a winter freeze, local search is a nightmare. It's usually just sponsored Google results or ad-driven Yelp pages. But here, they rank these thousands of businesses purely on public review data, tenure, and response quality, not one single paid placement. The data drives the rank, not the invoice. So if you need an HVAC contractor, you're looking at the genuine best in town based on real community data.
And making a huge financial decision like buying a house, you absolutely need clean, unbiased info for that. PicksByProperty takes these massive sets of public Zillow data and distills them to show you exactly where the housing market is shifting across 195 US metros, and they do it for free. They're cutting through the noise to show, for example, a major shift toward buyer-friendly markets right now. Phoenix and Tampa are seeing nearly 30% of their listings taking price cuts. Meanwhile, places like Rockford, Illinois, almost 9% year-over-year gains. They just hand you the raw, clean insights so you can make your own call. And finally, Section 5, Decoding Data and AI, making sense of incredibly complex information. We all know the AI landscape is moving at a completely blistering pace. New models are dropping almost weekly, and in a space this fast, human curation isn't just nice, it's vital. PicksByModel ranks a staggering 368 different AI models head-to-head across 82 real-world tasks. So if you need the absolute best model for writing SQL code or summarizing a dense 50-page legal brief, they've got a meticulously ranked list for it. You can instantly find the cheapest paid models for bulk processing, comparing things like Mistral, Nemo, or Llama 3.1 right down to their input and output costs per million tokens and their context windows.
And jumping over to PicksByOdds, they track live data across almost 300 prediction markets from platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket. Now, they're not giving betting advice here at all. They are strictly and impartially reporting where the money is currently moving. It's a really fascinating look into the wisdom of crowds. I mean, it makes total sense to see $10.6 million wagered on a Philly versus New York game, but then you see nearly $9.7 million wagered on the highly unconventional outcome of the U.S. acquiring part of Greenland in 2026. It's wild. But it's this brilliant, entirely unfiltered look at global sentiment, all organized into one clean dashboard.
So, bringing this whole explainer to a close, we've seen how human editors can take the sheer deafening noise of the internet and turn it into actionable, trustworthy signal. Whether that's hunting down an underground concert in Chicago, matching the perfect board game to your group, or crunching AI token costs. And it really just leaves us with one critical question. In an era of totally infinite content and algorithmic sludge, who are you trusting to curate your world? Are you going to let an algorithm feed you whatever is most profitable for them? Or are you seeking out information meticulously picked by people who actually look? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope it changes how you navigate the web.